but it is what it is. And what I hope for you is that you all have a very good morning. And I hope you're having the best morning of your life. And welcome to the Freedom Coffee live stream, where we celebrate the freedoms that we have and we focus on expanding those freedoms in the future. And the way we do that is we bitch and complain. No, I'm just kidding. We like, share, and subscribe the stream. We share wonderful books and stories like this, Honking for Freedom, the trucker convoy that gave us hope. And if you're looking for a Christmas gift or a stocking stuffer this year for your friends who are in alignment, or even to, to lightly and subtly troll lefty friends in your community, amongst your family, whatever, it's actually a good story. They'll start to read it, and then I think it will open their minds a little bit. And I'm going to tell just a little quick thing. Yesterday I was talking with a police officer who I know, who I'm friends with, who I'm very close with. And he started reading the book recently, and he said he couldn't put it down. And he said it was amazing. There was so much additional information that he didn't understand. He didn't get anything from legacy media, of course. And, what they were being told internally from the higher-ups in policing was the complete opposite of what was happening on the ground. And this is an officer who's not in Ottawa. So we were all being lied to, right? The general public was being lied to by the fake media, and people who were in policing were being lied to by the higher-ups, who were being lied to them by the political class. So lesson learned. Everyone's full of shit. They're all so full of crap. And but it's okay, because time heals all wounds, and time also allows the truth to come out, especially when you have really stubborn, annoying people like myself who will never shut up and will always make sure to keep pushing forward until enough people understand exactly what happened in Ottawa during the Freedom Convoy and subsequent events since then, of which many of you may know, or many of you may not know. But at some point, you'll be able to get the full context and the full story, and that's why we're here doing the Freedom Coffee live stream on, where are we on? Twitter, TikTok right now, but that's about to shut off. Fakebook, but I don't know how much longer we're going to do that, and honkingforfreedom.locals.com. So let's say YouTube and honkingforfreedom.locals.com as the primary, just because we need free speech. Oh, and Rumble as well, although Rumble's not live. Hold on, I just record. Yeah, okay, fine. I don't. I hope you're having the best. Now you get to listen to all of me. Wait, stop. I just recorded that little segment for honking for the TikTok, because I haven't put a TikTok up in a while, and I've been so busy, and apparently you got to feed the algorithm constantly or it forgets who you are, and it just moves on. So, okay, there we go. Jesse, my book will be here Monday. It's been shipped. I'm so excited now to get you up here in passing to sign it. I can't drive to get to you and your meetings. Where are you, Jesse? Like, if you're kind of a reasonable distance, I'll do that. Not if you're in, like, I don't know, Manitoulin Island. And I started my morning. I had to run out and get coffee because I'm out of coffee. And one of my buddies, who some of you may know, he's kind of a public figure, he says to me, I got to, he said, send me the link to the live stream, because he was asking if I'm live. I said, yeah, I'm going to live stream again. He said, send me the link. He says, I just woke up and have to feed the sheep. This is somebody from the city. So, I mean, many people are who have been through difficult times in their countries are just abandoning cities in Western countries and moving as far out to the country as possible just to get away from the nonsense. Cannington, Ontario. Where is Cannington? How far is that from Toronto? Is that like within an hour or so or something like that? I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a deal, Jesse. If you buy a couple of copies as gifts, and you're within an hour or so from Toronto, I will come up and I will sign a book for you, or how many books you need. And if there's anybody else in your neighborhood who would want that. Betty White, Resurrected, says, good morning. Well, I hope she's resurrected. Megan, good morning. On locals, it looks like Beth won the good morning race. Beth, tell me you came in here like super early. Well, I guess you couldn't have, because it has to be active. And anyways, it is what it is. Thank you all for your love. And Prairie Sun, thank you. 10:45, so you're 15 minutes before. The race is on locals, so it is what it is. About an hour above Oshawa. Okay, we're getting to 2 hours away from me. If we can figure out a way to, meet halfway, or maybe there's other people that want to get book signs. Like if you have a bunch of people there, I'll find it. I have a couple of days that I won't be trucking this week because of other stuff. And maybe we can make something work. I don't know. Send me a thing on Twitter or here. Or we'll try to coordinate, because I know people want signed copies for Christmas. And Beth says I'm a wee bit competitive. Yeah, a wee bit. Anyways, so the comments I got from this police officer who is reading this book, he said, they know that the media was lying to them. They know the media's full of crap, because they deal with that with their investigations too. They tell the fake news media one thing and they report the other. So there's enough skepticism amongst police officers. But he gave me like one of the nicest comments. He says, obviously it was a story kind of, about your experience. He said, but, you gave credit to other people and talked about the other people and told their stories as well. And I said, well, yeah, because that's the truth, right? That's kind of, it wasn't the Dichter convoy or the Hurt Locker Tom convoy. It was the Freedom convoy, and lots of people helped out. Some people sabotaged it, but it is what it is, right? So, anyways, it was a really nice comment to receive, and thank you. Beth, can we meet up in Toronto? I'm willing to come to you. I have my 2 books to be signed. Sure. If you come to Toronto is easy for me. I was trying to make it to the group in the Grimsby, Niagara area yesterday, but my dispatch was just late. I got back too late, well beyond when they would have gotten together at their pubs, so I couldn't make it. That's the problem, trying to plan these things, because if I have logistic challenges when I'm coming back, I can't make it happen. Anyways, so honkingforfreedom.com to get a book or to send a book. And everybody, I haven't heard a bad review yet, actually, which is amazing. Discussed this on The Hill, and The Hill in the United States, the publication, The Hill Times. And they actually just reposted my interview yesterday, last night or something. They reposted my interview with it, which was great. Really appreciative to them. And it's awesome. D2, good afternoon from PEI. Will you come to PEI to sign my book? Hey, listen, if you can get 50, 100 people together to do a book signing, and everybody pitch in like, I don't know, $10, $20 so I can get a flight to fly there, I'll come there. Sure. I mean, I'll figure out a way to squeeze it, but I'll do it. Jesse, that was a great interview. The Hill one. Yeah, there was, of all the interviews I've done, there's maybe a couple I didn't like, but that one was good. And there's still 2 that never saw the light of day. That was the 2-hour-long podcast I did with Barry Weiss on her podcast, Honesty. And then the hour-long that me and Tamara did with Rebel News on the day that we arrived in Ottawa. Still hasn't seen the light of day for whatever reason. Time Magazine. Time Magazine has a Person of the Year. And I'm pretty sure, because I posted it up, that the Person of the Year was the Canadian Truckers. And You know, that should be, but instead they went for the money launderer in chief, the Ukrainian prime minister. And by the way, I'm not taking a side on Ukraine, Russia. They're all horrible, but it is Ukraine is the greatest money laundering operation for politicians in human history. I mean, you don't have to, you have to be very bright to see that. And so Time Magazine went with the world's biggest money launderer as the person of the year. I think it should have been the Canadian truckers, which is why I posted that meme of the Canadian truckers person of the year Time Magazine on my Twitter and all of my feeds. I think as many of us as possible should be retweeting and sending that to Time Magazine just to remind them what they would have been like in the past. Because if you went back to, I don't know, the 1970s or 80s, is there any doubt that they would have celebrated the Canadian truckers, right? And what would they have said? And this is what I put in the description. I think this is what they would have put as their byline or subject line. They would have said, the Canadian truckers unified millions of people around the world and inspired convoys in 30-plus countries. Right? Is that not what Time Magazine would have done 20 years ago? But no, we're now this corporatized stakeholder capitalism, meaning communism, because capitalism is shareholder capitalism. They're into this. They're part of the woke mob as well, and they do nothing but lie to their readers. So, which is why I call much of the legacy media the fake news, because all they do is they lie to you, and they lie to the people who pay them money. Which is why I look at them as worse than dirt on my shoe. Like, I have just zero patience for them. They're pathetic, and I like telling them that to their face, that they're pathetic. Can we meet up in Toronto? Oh, yeah, you already said. So, Beth, just let me know when, and if you can come to Toronto, and if you want to bring a couple of people, let me know, and we'll get together here. Jade Star, they put warmongering on it. Yeah. Well, you know, this is what you do, right? That's what freedom is. Just go to war and fund it with FTX tokens, right? You know, why isn't that kid in jail? You know, I put on a tweet yesterday that why isn't Bankman-Fried in jail? And I said, like, oh, yeah. He wasn't targeted with some bullshit charge of mischief, which all my cop friends were laughing at during the Freedom Convoy. That is a charge that is disputed through summary judgment, like a parking ticket. And, you know, my friends, none of them have ever charged anybody with mischief. That's the threat that you give to kids who are drinking in the park. But the garbage that runs our political class decided they could weaponize that. And, you know, it was really scary when somebody tells me, somebody who's in law enforcement, that if the government and the people, state actors, keep doing this, it's going to get violent. They are causing violence. They are creating reciprocal radicalization. That's what our governments are doing. It's really scary. And I'm trying to do the opposite. You know, peace, love, unity, freedom. I'm trying to kind of temper everybody. So I guess I and others like me are doing the government's job. As always, because they're all fucking incompetent. Anyways. All right. So the Time Magazine is garbage. Well, yeah, they're all garbage, right? Time used to be the money. Yeah, many years ago. Now they celebrate those who commit war. Yeah, they become, you know, the political class have become exactly the people that they claim that they're protecting us against. That's who they've become. They've become the violent monsters. And, I mean, who is more violent than Justin Trudeau, right? What do? You just beat the shit out of a bunch of truckers. He turned a country into a banana republic to violently oppress his citizens. Okay. All right. Well, all the mainstream media will crumble as more people wake the hell up. Yeah, it's just going to take time. It is what it is. And but anyways, my concluding thought: Time Magazine should have made, if it was relevant, which it's not, the Canadian truckers the Person of the Year. That's what they would have done 20 years ago. But then, as somebody pointed out to me, they also made Hitler Time of the Year. And I could just see it now. If they made the Canadian truckers Time Person of the Year, then the political class and the fake news media would say, haha, see? They're just like Hitler, because Time also made Hitler the Person of the Year. Like, you can't win with the level of cognitive dissonance amongst people who are supposed to make supposed to inform us in society. But it is what it is. Time always supporting war. Heard that from Ray McGovern. Yeah, I don't know who Ray McGovern is. I apologize. Maybe I'm dating myself. I'm still waiting for the act that was committed that constituted mischief. I bet the Crown drops the charges against Tamara and a few months before her trial. Maybe. I hope so. Because I think it's going to be a stain on their careers, and it'll show how politicized some of these people are. If they're wise, everything will be just dropped. But there's not much wisdom in people in politics, so who knows? Let's see what happens. Elon Musk. I just want to talk about Elon Musk a little bit because I was in some Twitter Spaces yesterday when I was just listening in while I was driving back. I don't know, for those of you who know, if you watch mainstream media, you'll have no clue, about the Twitter files, which are being published by Twitter, which are the internal communications of what Twitter was doing to its users for the past several years and leading up to the 2020 election particularly. And it's really disturbing to see how, like, when people say, oh, Twitter's not important. Well, you tell that to the FBI. Because the FBI saw it as a primary propaganda, PR tool, whatever you want. So much so that Yoel Roth, who I believe he was an executive, he wasn't safety, he was some executive, complete lunatic, like just a complete brainlet. Yoel Roth was in regular communication with the FBI on what information the FBI wanted labeled misinformation. What? Like, I thought these were all lefties. All of a sudden, all these lefties love the intelligence bureaus. They love the military. They love war and violence. And what happened to lefties? I thought lefties were supposed to be anti-war at all costs. Like, wasn't that the whole message of the 1960s? It's because these people who virtue signal around identity politics and racialized identity politics. I mean, are these people really left? I mean, they're more communist than anything. Communists are violent and on the left, but people during the 1960s, during the age of flower power, those were not, a little bit maybe left in their worldview, but I don't think they were communist. But I don't know. Is that what we're going for? Who knows? Anyways, so Elon Musk has released a number of things showing about the suppression of numerous folks. Donald Trump was shadow banned a week before the election, and that was apparently at the directive. I don't know if that was a directive of the FBI, but that seems to be the case. So that would mean the own bureau that Donald Trump overseas was censoring him to ensure he didn't get his message out to get elected. I guess so much for the deep state thing being a conspiracy. Like, I guess that's when people talk about deep state, I guess that's exactly what they mean. And maybe I'm wrong, but seems to be. Anyways, I was listening in for this, but I didn't, nothing came about. I was just wondering if there was anything around, and maybe some of you heard or saw this. Was there any comment, was there any acknowledgement of suppression or censorship or shadow banning around the truckers during the trucker protest? Because I know when I was running, both my account and Tamara's account and numerous other accounts. I could see that mine was being suppressed and Tamara's wasn't. That's why I had to focus on messaging first from Tamara's Twitter account and then piggyback using my account. Because hers was new. When I took over Tamara's account, she had, I think, 2,000 followers, 2,500 followers. I might be slightly off, but it was around there. And at the end of it, I think I got her up to 30,000, 40,000 followers within that span of 3 weeks, just by, utilizing the strategy that I outline in chapter 11 of this book, Honking for Freedom. And what I do is Fooling the Censor Bots is chapter 11 in this book, and I kind of explain, not all of it, but a lot of what I was trying to do with both Tamara and my account utilizing the hashtags. So, yeah, I don't know. I didn't see in any of from what I've heard, the Twitter files, nothing's come up around the Canadian truckers. But if you're on Twitter and you want to ask Elon Musk, hey, is there anything around the Canadian truckers? It would be greatly appreciated. But because there was no centralized account, I was using personal accounts and using hashtags. The only thing I could see is them freaking out, not knowing what to do, and trying to censor hashtags like Mwakamo, but I kept changing them. So because I kind of, everything that you're seeing in the Twitter files, we all knew, or at least suspected. What this has just proved everything that we suspected all this time. So if you're on Twitter, please ask Elon Musk if there's anything in there, or Matt Taibbi or Barry Weiss, if there's anything related to the truckers and the Freedom Convoy. Anyways, all right. We got a whole bunch of them drag. Well, let's not put that publicly up here, Jesse. I don't want to encourage naughty behavior from our government, right? But I hear you. Twitter has been a kingmaker for the left. Well, not anymore. That's pretty done. It would be neat to have Tom Quiggin on to talk about this era of misinformation. Yeah, when I was producing Tom's podcast, we actually did, we talked about this in a couple of episodes about what he dealt with when he first saw just out and out deception from legacy media. And he used the example of CNN during the Bosnian War. And that CNN was reporting nowhere near any conflict zone as though it was, and it was all fabricated nonsense. He goes into it into quite detail. We at least he went into it in our podcast. I was watching the January 6th riot live. Trump made a tweet to go home in peace. Yeah, I remember that. And within 2 minutes, Twitter flagged it, inciting violence. Yeah, go home in peace is inciting violence. So police could not share it, and probably made it. So I remember I was watching that too. There was it was funny. There was this very pretty Israeli girl that was interviewed by Right Side Media, I think it was, and they were just going around talking to people, and she said, we know what's happened. We're seeing what's happening. It's happening in every country. All these leftists that are, screwing with our elections, and they're making sure that they take over control, and, they're taking over our civil liberties everywhere. And she said, they're doing it in my country. They're doing it in the United States. They're doing it everywhere. And the way she articulated it was, and with her accent, I thought it was very impactful. But just to show that this is a global problem and a serious problem. The next thing that's just come up on my radar today, the Globe and Smail, also known as the Globe and Mail, has put out an op-ed questioning the use of the Emergency Measures Act to violently beat, Canadian protesters. And you know what? I thought, great. It only took them 10 months. It only took the Globe and Smell 10 months to shift from the Canadian truckers are white supremacists weaponizing freedom to shift over to, well, maybe Trudeau shouldn't have enacted the Emergency Measures Act. Wow, they're so sharp. Aren't you glad people get their news from them? Like, just pathetic. They're so done. It's so... And the sooner they go bankrupt, the better, to be entirely honest. Anyways, that's, today I have to make it short because I got a bunch of questions. I got a bunch of interviews I got to do in the States and calls I got to make to the States and a whole bunch of, there's a bunch of things going on. Check out that interview with The Hill and, where we talk about this. And with all of this noise, there's so much good stuff going on. Like the reason I bring up the whole Elon Musk, Twitter thing, whatever, is because people are waking up. It's awesome. This goes to show that my idea and my theory that we've hit peak stupidity and now we're going to kind of level off back into some common sense over time, and it's going to take lots of time, that we are well on our way. And I think Musk and others like him are going to help. If you've noticed, Jeff Bezos, who's not a friend to Musk, they historically have friction. Even he has come out and supported Elon Musk's move on Twitter, although very subtly, but he has. A lot of other people of the wealthiest class are quietly supporting, and not so quietly, supporting Elon Musk's move to transparency, to let everybody know how social media platforms have been manipulating us. And this is also when I say, I'm broadcasting this on Facebook. Like, I wasn't using Facebook for years. During the whole convoy, I didn't use Facebook for years. And I kind of like, what is wrong with people? Why are you still on their platform? Because Facebook is still doing exactly what we're seeing Twitter expose. So why are you on there? Why? Like, if people move away from Facebook, I'm going to move away from Facebook, right? The only reason I'm broadcasting there is because so many of you are still there. Get off the platform. You're seeing from the Twitter files exactly what Facebook is doing to you. And they're shadow banning and this and that. Like, there's so many other platforms. Twitter, Getter, Minds, Locals, which I'm broadcasting here, and I broadcast every time we do these live streams. Like, it's so good now because there's so many more platforms that are making their way and becoming viable alternatives to Facebook. The only people who still use Facebook, as far as I know, that really need it, is in Latin America, for example, when you get a cell phone plan, and remember, the economics of Latin America are very different than North America. So if you go get a cell phone plan, most people get cell phone plans without data just because they can't afford it, and cell phones, proportionally are more expensive there. So they'll get a cell phone plan without data, and they'll use Wi-Fi everywhere. There's a number of places that have free Wi-Fi. They have Wi-Fi subscriptions. But if you use WhatsApp or Facebook, you can get Facebook and WhatsApp for free. So you have a regular cell phone plan, no data, but you can sign up for free Facebook and WhatsApp wherever you want. I wonder if that's a method of controlling people's, views and perspectives. So those people I can understand because they just can't afford to access the internet wherever they want, and Facebook is kind of like this free lifeline given to people in the third world. But it's all propaganda, and you see they're doing exactly to their audience what Twitter was doing to everybody else, right? Jesse, I'm still on Facebook because I'm trying to save all my photos and videos, and I have followers for the rescue there. People just are not leaving. Yeah, and I just don't understand that. Like the whole pictures and everything. Like I put everything kind of in my platforms. Like I've everything organized in my ecosystem, and then I'll put things out to the social media platforms. But if the social media platforms die, it doesn't matter because I have everything local in my own ecosystem, and I use Apple for that. That's why I use Apple. Apple's very strong for that, and It is what it is. Do you really think we were ever in a state of common sense? Well, that's a good question. Even before this whole the cerveza sickness began, I'm saying this because you're on Facebook. Ironically, this couldn't have happened in the first place if the masses were functioning from common sense. There will have to be a complete reinventing of society. I don't think that's the case. I just think just get off Facebook. I mean, just right now, at least, like you see like he bought Twitter. Do you think he's just going to leave Twitter the way it is? No. Twitter is going to become, I mean, all indicators seem to be he's going down the path of WeChat. If you don't know anybody from Asia, you wouldn't know what that is. WeChat is just a primary source of communication. It's a payment processor, digital communication, microblog like Twitter. But you think he's just going to leave it there? Like, he's made overtures to say that he's going to have video streaming and monetization like YouTube. So he's going to build Twitter into this massive free speech, or as much as free speech that Apple and Google will allow in their app stores, I'm sure, until he builds his own phone, which is inevitable. It's going to replace all of this. So you now have an alternative, being Twitter. So, and you have a guy and a team around it who is not going to censor you. Not only they're not censoring you, they're exposing the amount of censorship that's gone on. So why wouldn't you go there? It just doesn't, for me, it just doesn't make sense. I know it's annoying to learn new platforms and whatever. Once you get on multiple platforms, then you realize all the common similarities amongst them, so it becomes very easy to navigate and go from one to the other. So I would just make that suggestion. MySpace was so much better. Yeah, I didn't get on Facebook until really late, actually. And I actually had to use it for work for a little while. And I got off it, 4 years ago, I think. 5 years ago, maybe. I'm not sure. A while ago. I do not have a cell phone. No faith in anything anymore. But pics and vids are bird-related. Well, Jesse, I do hope, at the very least, I'm going to help you gain some faith in people and what's going on now. That, yeah, there's always some bad actors, of course. But that's the small subsect of the population. And they're very loud, and they're very obnoxious, and they're very ambitious, right? But the rest of us, things are great. Like, the rest of us, we all get along and support each other. And so I wouldn't worry about that. But the bird pictures, okay, that's cool. I thought there were pictures, related to other stuff that you might be involved with, or family stuff or whatever. But, and by the way, that's not a judgment. Like, I understand why people don't want to leave Facebook, because they've invested so much time. It's the sunken cost fallacy that they've put so much time into it that they don't want to abandon it. But I think with Facebook, you can download your data. I'm not sure. But that also becomes a pain in the ass. It's almost used as a family connection now. No landline connection anymore. Are you saying Facebook is? That's you're using Facebook for, to connect with your family? Yeah, I'm trying to... See, the thing is with I don't want to connect with family on Facebook because I don't want family to be doxxed. I've always wondered why people put pictures of their children and stuff on social media. I think that's a very Western view, because you do that in Latin America, your kids are getting kidnapped. So you don't do that. Like, people are a lot more aware of things from a security perspective. So that's why I don't use these platforms to connect with family. I put them on my messaging apps, and I just connect with them directly there. It's just much easier. And if you have like distant family that you talk to once every 3 years, let's be honest, you just don't want to talk to them. I mean, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with them. That's just the reality of what it is. Facebook, but yeah, I hear you. It's not worth it. Snowden warned it. Yeah, and I'm not passing judgment on you. I understand why it's annoying to leave one platform to the other. Like, I get that. But Anyways, Megan, people should build communities on Locals. Yeah, Locals is pretty good. I got to be honest. It is. It's been pretty good to me. I don't have to worry about censorship and free speech, any of that sort of stuff. I just put it out there, and I know it's not going to be quashed. And so, yeah, no, I agree. Locals is a solid platform. But anyways, all of this to say that at least now we're getting the truth of what was going on behind the scenes, how people were being censored on Twitter, and how people are currently being censored on YouTube and on Facebook. And, well, those are really the main ones that the establishment media and political class uses. So you now know that's happening here, right? Is my stream on Facebook being censored or suppressed? Of course. I put in Freedom Convoy, boom. I'm sure it has the COVID warning. I saw a bunch of that. You know, you talk about Canadian truckers and you see a warning about COVID. Like, whatever. It is what it is. Point is, things are getting better, and this seems to be giving people lots of hope. So I hope you will consider it for a Christmas gift, a stocking stuffer, whatever, or just a gift, or even back to work gift after the holidays. If you haven't read it, I promise you won't be disappointed. If you have read it, please help share the word. Let people know. honkingforfreedom.com. And don't forget, if you get it from Amazon or Kobo or Etsy, we've had to switch the fourth platform. So we have the fourth platform coming out before the 15th. That'll be primarily for the American audience. But don't forget to leave a review. That's very important. Or if you see reviews that are helpful, click the helpful button. That's also helpful for for analytics purposes. Anyways, okay, I got to run. I love you all. I hope you have an amazing day. Enjoy your day. I'm sure you're all out getting ready for Christmas shopping, which is why I tell you that. And just be good to everybody. Be kind, and your day is going to be so much better. And I know my day is so much better when I talk to all of you and I try to focus on positivity and love. And hopefully that will work for you as well. Okay, I got to run, and I'll talk to you soon.